The Professors is brought to you by Blackborder.com. The site features everything from pro player articles by Gerard Fabiano, Nico Boni, Joel Calafel, Jan Massacard, podcasts, the Ask the Judge and Ask the Pro features, forums, a deck building tool, some of the lowest prices on the internet, and more. So go check out Blackborder.com today.
Hello everybody and welcome to yet another episode of The Professors. This week we're taking a look at the top 4 sealed submissions, playing them off, and awarding the prizes. So let's draw. As of Thanksgiving Day, we had 65 submissions. That tops last competition's numbers by nearly 20 entries. Per usual, there were some awesome ideas for the pool, and dozens of people handled it dozens of different ways. However, I will say that this time I did not choose a pool for the top 4 that makes me look stupid or would allow for a major nitpick. This means no 50 card, 4 color, telepathy power level card including decks, and 3 out of 4 that did not have any questionable card choices. The first build is from Andrew Mendelson. It's a green-white take. It runs a very simplistic mid-range set, teamed with cards like Windborne Charge and Narrow Escape. Both are problematic to the more often played black and red decks, of which the competition saw 23. The second build also tackled the pool unexpectedly. It's Anthony Dean's majorly green deck that tries to get as much of an effect out of Primal Bellow as possible, but runs 1/3 of the lands as swamps. He also ran a Soaring Seacliff, very conditional and seemingly useless, but I did 5 games of testing with this deck versus black-green builds, and found that the Seacliff always had a good target, whether it be the Woodcrasher to finish the game on turn 7, a creature with Primal Bellow to finish earlier, or just the final damage after the mid-game is coming to a close and you have no bomb to battle with. Second question is, why Bala Ged Thief? I mean, there are only 3 allies in the deck, so you're likely to only activate the ability once, and for the worst card in their hand. Well, played correctly, Bala Ged can be used not just to take out a card, but to take out their bomb. They're one card that they've been waiting to cast. The next deck builder had 2 great submissions high on the list of playtesting, and both of which won 4 out of the 5 games they played, losing only to the other build. The one I selected appears to have a slightly better card choice and swung in the mid-game for the win after burning up their creatures with Magma Rifts, Inferno Traps, and Punishing Fires, and, of course, Mold Shambler. Frontier Guide over a Colony Heart Expedition was surprising, as Colony can accelerate you to destructive Mold Shamblers and multiple hitters on the same turn, though I see the objective of the Soul Creature base with higher risk-reward combat tricks, like Slaughter Cry. Our final list is from Gaura Eli. It's a red-black list, though it tries a subtle ally theme, and it wins. Bala Ged Thief incurs multiple discards, and Hagra Diabolist presses additional direct damage for which its power cannot as accurately. Now let's play the games. For the next 3 matches, I'll be playing on the left with Andrew on the right. This match is red-black versus green-black. On the draw, I keep a Mountain, Mountain, Swamp, Swamp, Bladetusk Boar, Soulstare Expedition, and Heartstabber Mosquito hand, with Andrew shuffling a 5-land hand to a 6-card of Forest, Scute Mob, Grazing Gladeheart, Oran-Rief Recluse, and Nissa's Chosen. Andrew plays Scute Mob, returned by Soulstare Expedition, returned by 4 damage over the next 2 turns. Andrew plays an Oran-Rief Survivalist. On turn 4, a Bladetusk Boar comes down, playing a key role in this game. Here, Andrew decides to bring the team minus Scute Mob. I assume he was expecting a removal, and having exactly a 50% chance of getting a land next turn, started expecting a bigger Scute Mob. Either way, he gets in 4, bringing me to 7, followed by Andrew's 5th land, but a stopped force. I get a quest for the Gravelord, and start the climb up with this card advantage and engine. Andrew gives a tell that he has no creatures in hand and attacks, realizing Scute Mob is destined to die anyway. A kicked Mosquito underpiles his 2/3. He gets a Stonework Puma, but I return that with a zombie at the end of the turn, slugging for 5 and bringing back a Giant Scorpion and Bladetusk Boar. Andrew gets 2 swamps via the Expedition and forces a trade between the 3/3 Oran-Rief Survivalist and Bladetusk Boar. I play Crypt Ripper and Highland Berserker, and that's game. On the draw, I mulligan my 7-card hand while Andrew keeps a 3-land 7-carder with Hideous End, Colony Heart Expedition, Baloth Woodcrasher, and Soulstare Expedition. I keep a pretty iffy 2-land 6-carder. The action begins on Andrew's side, turn 3, with a Scute Mob after some expeditions. I get a 3rd land and a Trusty Machete teamed with a Stonework Puma, combated by an Oran-Rief the Vastwood. I get the mountain necessary using Inferno Trap and bringing Andrew to 18. The turn after, a Baloth Woodcrasher meets a Hideous End. I then attack for 4. Andrew returns his 2 creatures, then drops Scute Mob and Mold Shambler. Andrew powers up his 2 green creatures. Fortunately, a Magma Rift takes down the Scute Mob, and I follow with a Giant Scorpion. Mold Shambler comes into the red zone, and 2 3/3 Grazing Gladehearts come down, and I take 6 the next turn after this plays out. A Baloth Woodcrasher comes down to his side though, and we're on to game 3. In Game 3, Andrew keeps Stonework Puma, Grazing Gladeheart, Hideous End, and 4 Swamps, where I mulligan to 3 Mountains, Inferno Trap, Bladetusk Boar, and Hideous End. On turn 3, Andrew gets a Grazing Gladeheart, returned by a Bladetusk Boar, returned by a Colony Heart Expedition. I swing for 3 and Punishing Fire the Grazing Gladeheart, returning it to my hand off a landfall trigger. Andrew plays a Stonework Puma, which gets killed by Punishing Fire. I attack for 3 and attempt to do so again the turn after that. However, Bladetusk Boar is killed by Hideous End, and Andrew searches up 2 lands off the Colony Heart Expedition in order to kick a Mold Shambler, destroying a swamp, but it's killed by a Hideous End. Next turn, Andrew tries to get there again with a Baloth Woodcrasher, but that runs into an Inferno Trap. Oran-Rief Recluse comes down the turn after that, but it's combated by a Hagra Diabolist. Interestingly enough, he attacks with a 1/3. I decide not to block and am hit with a Primal Bellow. However, I pick up here, taking him for a total of 5. I then attack for 7 next turn and Inferno Trap the Spider. I keep a 7-card hand of Steplinks, Stonework Puma, Oran-Rief Survivalist, and 4 lands. Andrew mulls to 6 and keeps 3 lands, a Scute Mob, Frontier Guide, and Tuktuk Grunts. I get a first turn Steplinks followed by a Scute Mob. I play a land, swing for 2, and add an Oran-Rief Survivalist to my side. I play a Colony Heart Expedition, a land, and then attack for 4, and I get an Emeria Angel. Bladetusk Boar comes to his side, but I play a land, pop the Colony Heart Expedition, and get tons of flying birds, an Emeria Angel on the attack, and a 5/6 Steplinks. Did I mention the birds have laser beam eyes? On the draw, I keep Plains, Forest, Stonework Puma, Nissa's Chosen, Colony Heart Expedition, Mold Shambler, and Grazing Gladeheart, with Andrew keeping a 6-card hand of Oran-Rief the Vastwood, Kazandu Refuge, Forest, Punishing Fire, Oran-Rief Survivalist, and Highland Berserker. The game begins with a 3/3 Oran-Rief Survivalist on turn 3 on his side. I return that with a Grazing Gladeheart, but I get hit for 4. I return with Nissa's Chosen and Andrew a Scute Mob. He attacks with his allies, and I trade the Highland Berserker for Nissa's Chosen. Next turn, I play a land, but Grazing Gladeheart gets Punishing Fired, which gets returned to Andrew's hand. Punishing Fire is seen next turn, and I get hit for another 5. He reveals a Mark of Mutiny, and we're on to Game 3. In Game 3, I keep Forest, Plains, Kabira Crossroads, Oran-Rief Survivalist, Emeria Angel, Steplinks, and Colony Heart Expedition. Andrew keeps Oran-Rief the Vastwood, Forest, Mountain, Inferno Trap, Frontier Guide, Magma Rift, and Slaughtercry. I play Steplinks turn 1, returned by Oran-Rief the Vastwood. I play a land, swing for 2, and an Oran-Rief Survivalist. Next turn, I play Colony Heart Expedition, a Kabira Crossroads, swing for 4, and Steplinks is killed by an Inferno Trap. Andrew plays a 2/2 Frontier Guide with that Oran-Rief the Vastwood, and I swing for 2, then bring down another Emeria Angel. However, Emeria Angel is killed by Magma Rift on Andrew's turn, and I'm attacked for 2. I attack for 2, but Andrew gets a 3/3 Grazing Gladeheart and swings for 2. I search up 2 lands and accelerate to a kicked Mold Shambler, killing Oran-Rief the Vastwood, but Andrew attacks in, and with nothing else to do, it's game over. I keep a hand of 3 lands, Shatterskull Giant, a Soulstare Expedition, Magma Rift, and a Giant Scorpion, while Andrew digs for a 6-carder of 3 lands, Mark of Mutiny, Scute Mob, and Bladetusk Boar. Andrew kicks it off with a Scute Mob versus my Soulstare Expedition. We both go to 2 lands and myself to 19. Andrew gets to 3 lands and takes the red-black deck to 18 after a Grazing Gladeheart. I get a 3rd land as well and power out a Giant Scorpion. Andrew gets a Bladetusk Boar, returned by a Guul Draws Vampire. Andrew builds the force with a Molten Ravager, and I go down 3. Scute Mob is hit by a Magma Rift, but I still go down another 3 next turn. Andrew brings out the Tuktuk Grunts and hits for 6, but I have some hope with the newly found quest for the Gravelord. However, that threat's mitigated by a kicked Mold Shambler on the board. Andrew decides to wait on the attack, but digs up a Mark of Mutiny next turn, and with no ability to even recur my Giant Scorpion, Red-Green takes the game. On the play, Black-Red keeps 3 lands, Magma Rifts, Hideous End, Stonework Puma, and Crypt Ripper. Green-Red keeps 3 lands, Trusty Machete, Tuktuk Grunts, Baloth Woodcrasher, and Nissa's Chosen. Andrew gets a Trusty Machete and a Nissa's Chosen in the first 2 turns, combated by only my 2 lands. On turn 3, Nissa's Chosen wielding a Machete attacks into a Hideous End. Crypt Ripper goes in the next turn, taking Andrew to 16. Andrew plays Oran-Rief Recluse, but I swing in for 2 and follow it up with a Hagra Diabolist. However, I run into a setback when the Inferno Trap slaughters the Crypt Ripper. I attack for 3 and bring another 2 damage with a Stonework Puma coming into play next turn. Andrew gets a Baloth Woodcrasher, but that's crushed by a Magma Rift, and I take Andrew for another 3. Hagra Diabolist likewise runs into another Magma Rift, and Andrew gets the upper hand again, and again, with Oran-Rief Survivalist plus Trusty Machete, wins the war with attrition, and attacks for the win. Hi, this is Anthony here. Thanks again to everybody who entered. The prizes in order from 1st to 4th are 9 packs for 1st, 6 for 2nd, and 3 for 3rd and 4th. So until next time, this is Anthony Palmerio. Tapped out for now, but we'll untap soon.